Join us for the following previews. Hello, hello, hello. This is Adolf. I have with me Classic Jake.
Hello, people.
And today we're doing the 3D and 2D releases for March of 2021. Now, this month, Jake, is interesting. You may want to say it's a monstrous month.
Yep.
You know what Godzilla, SpongeBob, Justice League, Wonder Woman all have in common?
What, Adolf, do they all have in common?
They come out in March.
Woohoo!
Alright, so let's go for the theatrical 3D movies. Coming soon to theaters and cinemas near you. And I put a theatrical here as a quotation mark because your mileage may vary. Depending your theater, if one, it's open, or two, if it is open, will they have it in 3D? I don't know. So your mileage will definitely vary. I actually recommend you go ahead and contact management of that local cinema that you're wanting to go to and tell them you want to see this movie in 3D. Because if they don't have demand for it, they won't put it up. So the first movie is Raya and the Last Dragon from Disney.
Yeah.
It's coming out on March 5th, 2021, and if you pay for the premiere access, which I don't remember if it's 20 or 25 or 30, you get to watch it at home. You don't have to watch it in theater. I don't know if you've seen the newest trailers for this. It does look better. What are your thoughts on Raya?
It looks like, just looked basic, pretty enough, catchy enough, basic.
So, yeah, it looks good. I want to see it, and I want to see it in 3D. And it may have to be, we watch it at home, but I don't really want that. So, hopefully there's some 3D screening somewhere that's close by to one of our people working on the website, but I don't know for sure. So, let's go to the next thing. Next thing is Godzilla vs. Kong, coming out on now, March 31st.
I'll believe it when I see it. I really want to see this in 3D badly. And I would prefer my first 3D experience with this on the big screen. But with the way in the US, we just hit 500,000 dead, and people are still not getting it, what they have to do. So Jake is just very, very sad right now.
So, internationally, this comes out on the 26th, but for some reason they decided to push it to the 31st for America and HBO Max. We're both fans of the newer Kong and Godzilla movies. This is the kind of thing you want to see in IMAX and 3D and everything. I think the director even said the best way of seeing this is in IMAX 3D, but obviously that it's not always an option.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. With that, that's the only two 3D movies that I saw are coming out. There might be some more that drop by, but nothing I could see. And obviously, the big caveat is these movie release dates may change. So, who knows?
Yeah, and maybe more theaters shut down. Maybe more open up. US, we don't know. This pandemic is going on even longer than I thought it was going to.
It's still really bad out there. So, if you do go to theaters, please wear a mask and take care of yourself because you don't know where the COVID might be, So, all right, let's go on to some noteworthy 2D movies. Now, these movies I thought were important enough to be included on this list because in another dimension, another world, these movies probably would have gotten a 3D release. The first one up is SpongeBob Sponge on the Run. Now, Jake, this is actually coming out on March 4th on Paramount Plus, and to my knowing, it will not get a theatrical release at all.
I thought this was a SpongeBob movie that got a 3D release already.
In other parts of the world, it may have, but not here in America.
Canada.
Yeah.
So I am hoping that this at least gets a home video 3D release somewhere in the world.
Now, here's a hint for anyone out there. If you do have a VPN and you can watch things from different segments of the world, I think it's actually on Netflix right now. And it is available without additional fees if you're in the UK or something else. So you might want to check into that if you're really into SpongeBob and you don't want to pay $20 to watch this. Um, and of course Paramount Plus. Watch it via Netflix via VPN. That is a legal way of doing it. Not necessarily the easiest way of doing it, but a way of doing it. So this movie did look like it was gonna look great in 3D. The previous movie looked really great in 3D, and this having the new, CGI animated look, I think it would have looked great. So it's sad that we may never see this in 3D.
Yeah.
All right, the next movie is Zack Snyder's Justice League,
Yeah. 4 hours in an R rating.
and it's coming out March 18th on HBO Max. Now, I do wonder if, obviously, I think they don't have a 3D version of this. They didn't shoot the movie in 3D, the original theatrical cut. I did review it, and I did like it. I don't know. Most people seem to hate this movie. I don't think it deserves the hate, but I do think it is a flawed movie. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, the Josh Whedon cut of this that came out in the theaters, is, is pretty basic. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't exactly awe-inspiring either.
I do wonder what this is going to be like. I actually prefer the Snyder cut of Batman vs Superman. I think that's a better movie. Now,
Mhm.
4 hours is a lot. Snyder definitely has a style to his own work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the longer cut of Watchmen's better too. A lot better than the theatrical version. If it's like his other works, the time will fly right by. It'll fly faster than the theatrical versions. I mean, because the Whedon version of Justice League might have been short, but God, it felt like it was 3 hours long.
It just kind of has some pacing problems, and it's a flawed movie. You can't deny that.
Mm, yeah, and a lot of people are acting out of character. Some of the cuts are weird. The color correction is weird. 3D was nice in places, really nice actually.
So the next one up is Monster Hunter on Blu-ray. Now, I don't know if this will ever get a 3D Blu-ray release. I don't think so. Who knows? This is coming out March 2nd, and the movie itself didn't get a 3D release here in America, and the release it did get was pretty basic. Like, I think it was considered a flop, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And most of the world don't really care about this movie either. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the one market they had that racist crap. They had it. I mean, it shouldn't have even been in there in the first place.
yeah, so it made 25 million worldwide.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's worldwide box office total of 25 million. Just you would think this movie would be like 350, 500, in that range or something.
I think. Well, it also got double hit the pandemic.
Yeah, it was originally a September release, and then he went to Christmas for some reason, or almost Christmas, and no one cared. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are kind of tired of their movies together. This. I mean, all the ads. This just look like Resident Evil with just a different monster they're fighting.
yeah. All right, let's keep going here. We got 3DS games, which we've got nothing. 3D Blu-rays, which we actually have quite a few. Coming soon to 3D Blu-ray. This first one is called Dragon Rider 3D. This is a German release coming out on March 18th. I saw the trailer for it. I mean, I don't speak German, even though my name is Adolf. I really have no idea what's going on. So,
I just wonder if it's just a German language release, or is it going to have an English track or English subs in the original language? I mean, Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
So I really don't know anything besides the basic information here. A young silver dragon teams up with a mountain spirit and an orphan boy on a journey through the Himalayas in search of the Rim of Heaven.
Okay.
Kind of looks like a little bit like a D version of How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
Next movie is Wonder Woman 1984. This is coming out March 30th. Kind of soured on this movie a little bit, right, Jake?
Yeah, not as enamored with it as I was when I first saw it. Yeah, it didn't hold up on a second viewing as much. I mean, I still think it's a good movie. I just don't think it's a great one.
I could go there. I could say it's a good movie, but it definitely is too long, and they just don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I did like the kind of 3 sub-stories they juggled. I thought they juggled their supporting cast very well at not the expense of Diana's story. Because that was the one thing that got me about Captain Marvel. I know that's a weird comparison, but it became more of a Nick Fury movie than it was a Carol Danvers movie.
All right, the last thing here is the 2014 Godzilla movie.
Ah.
This is an Indian release, so coming out March 31st with a 4K edition, like the metal box. It's a pretty badass looking box. The red. I mean, the 2014 Godzilla I really like. I just kind of think it's a little bit slow.
Yeah, and it's a little dark, but it's a hey, how can you hate a Bryan Cranston movie? And then I joke it's also now technically part of the Marvel universe because Wanda and Pietro are playing a married couple in this version. And if you're watching WandaVision, you might know the reference.
So Godzilla, I don't know how. I guess if we have an all-region player, you could theoretically import it, but I don't know if India.
A lot of Indian Blu-rays are all region.
Okay, so I don't know how that works, but I know if you're really into 3D Blu-rays, you probably already have a all-region 3D Blu-ray player of some kind.
And were several releases of this throughout the world. I don't know if you don't have it already, or you can only find region-locked versions, this may be an alternative for you.
And you get the 4K version on there too, so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, because I know my copy doesn't have a 4K disc.
You get the 4K disc, the 3D Blu-ray, and the regular 2D Blu-ray. So yeah, that's it for this month, March. Surprisingly good amount. A lot of monster stuff. Godzilla. We got dragons. We got Godzilla. We got a little bit of this. We got Justice League. Got SpongeBob. This is actually a pretty decent month.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, I would like to watch both of the 3D movies. We'll see if that's possible. I would like to see them in theaters as well, but I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that. And so, yeah, I guess that's basically for us. Bye.
Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D, Mr. Bengal 5, and Kevin Winter for your financial support on Patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.